All right, Joe, taking a look here at your 9-year-old son. Um, First of all, it's an athletic, aggressive move at the ball, especially for a 9-year-old. Um, it's a pretty advanced pattern, and my guess would be he's doing very well out there at the plate. Um, and I would imagine he's one of the more advanced hitters in that group. Um, he's got rhythm. You can tell he's aggressive and confident. There's real intent behind that swing. So, I mean, I would, be confident in saying he's well ahead of most of the kids his age throughout the country. And one of the things, that really jump off well right at contact is the contact position. And again, I'm having to view this through QuickTime. It wouldn't, the file wouldn't fit into my analysis system. We'll get this nice tilted position, and one of the big important things that we have to have in hitting is we want to be off of that backside, but behind the front side, and that's kind of the dichotomy that we have. People think that their weight's all in the back foot when they hit the ball, but really we've driven off of the back foot, but we stay leveraged behind this front foot through contact. And so in terms of being off the back, behind the front, this nice tilted position, that really is outstanding. Okay. Into again some more of the positives. You can see he goes back first. There's a good negative move. In other words, he goes back to load the backside, and then the hands they tend to make a move back too. Not exactly the perfect move to load, but he does have a good negative, and then there's a pretty good drive to the front side. Now, I do think, just by looking at this, as we kind of look at, I mainly look at three areas: back leg, back arm, and then that front side. We'll go ahead and look at the back leg here, and again, I'm trying to do this quickly. One take here. The back leg has a simple goal. We want to load the back leg with the intent of laterally unloading it. In other words, the goal of the back leg is to drive energy in the direction of the pitch, which is going to put energy into the front side. And that front leg works on the front hip to open the pelvis from the front. So again, very simply, the back legs simply loads and then unloads, pressing laterally sideways. I do think there's a little bit of forced intent to turn the back foot instead of just driving laterally. There's a little bit of forced spin there, but you can see he does get, he gets off the backside. So I would simply say, allow the back foot to turn over, but don't force it. I think he's forcing that back leg to turn a little bit. If we look at the back arm, he kind of lifts the hands. My guess would be he's a right-handed thrower. The back arm tends to kind of get pulled by the front side. When we see our best hitters, that back arm works more to load, works more like an infielder pulling the ball out of the glove, and he more or less just kind of lifts his hands. We're not really winding up the humerus there, that long bone in the upper arm, as we get going. So again, we don't really wind that bone up. More of an out of the glove throwing action to start. We more or less kind of raise the hands, which again is better than most kids his age are doing. Much better. They tend not to do anything with the the hands, or really the back arm, to get things loaded up. And then as we slot to the ball, we really want to keep this elbow bent here. We don't really want to widen out. And you can see how wide he gets here, and how the back arm has widened out too much, and he's a little barred out here. He's doing a great job of keeping the bat vertical. Most kids his age right now have a bat that's flat to the ground or parallel to the ground at this point. He really keeps that bat perpendicular, and that's nice. So that top hand's doing a real good job. But the overall way, and again, my suspicion is he's a right-handed thrower, because that back arm doesn't have a great throwing pattern to the ball. I feel like it's kind of right arm dominant, and the right arm is more or less pulling the barrel to the ball instead of the back arm throwing the barrel to the ball. So, and you can see how that, it's really the humerus moving, but most people see the elbow. You can see how that elbow isn't real active getting down there. There's just not there's not a high level throwing pattern out of that back arm, okay? And as we get through contacting, we're in a great contact position, but this arm, again, really, we want to see that arm closer to finishing at that point, a little bit more of a throwing posture, and it's instead of this arm throwing at the ball, the body's kind of more or less pulling it around, and the throw doesn't finish until way out over here. Okay, so long story short, this back arm should be very close to for perfection. We want that arm to most closely resemble throwing. And then as we go to throw the bat head at the ball, this arm should be not fully extended, but closer to extension, not so much trapped to our body here, but a little bit more out front and closer to finishing that throw there. Last thing I look at, again, it's back leg, back arm, front side. As we look at the front side here, very closed on the front foot. That's nice. He's nice and tilted. I do think that the shoulders, when I talk about the upper, I'm talking about usually bracing up, throwing against that front side. When we're looking at the shoulders, they continue to kind of rotate through contact. They're continuing to rotate through. We'd like to see that brace up a little sooner.
Hey, babe.